Hello, lovely people. Welcome to today's episode of Reality TV News. Reminding you, we post videos daily, so if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, smash that subscribe button so that you don't miss any important update. Okay, then, the first update we have today is a pretty revealing interview Margaret Josephs just did. She really didn't hold back.
No, she definitely didn't. Touched on the show's status, all that financial drama with Teresa Giudice, potential cast changes, a lot.
Okay, let's start with Luis Ruelas. She was asked point blank if he's a good businessman.
And her answer, just false. No explanation, just flat out false.
Oh.
And she also said she doesn't see him as a stand-up guy. Again, very blunt.
What does that kind of directness signal, you think?
Well, it certainly demonstrates her conviction, right? She seems absolutely sure. And interestingly, she described their whole situation, Teresa and Luis's, as very calculated.
Calculated, okay. And she made a pretty big claim about him, too, didn't she, about Teresa Giudice?
Yeah, she said she feels Luis has isolated Teresa from her friends and even family. That's, quite the statement.
Definitely a serious thing to say. And speaking of Teresa Giudice, Margaret's feelings about her financial news were also, well, pretty stark.
Uh-huh. She said she doesn't feel sorry for her at all.
Right, because...
Because, according to Margaret, people warned her. She specifically mentioned, even Andy Cohen gave warnings, implying, that Teresa maybe didn't listen.
And she didn't stop there with Teresa, did she? The language got pretty strong.
Oh, yeah. She used the word vicious. So Teresa says horrible things and obsesses over her brother, Joe Gorga. It really depicts the level of bad blood there, at least from Margaret's side.
Intense. But there's a little bit more to it, right?
There was. She did add that she hopes they get through the financial stuff specifically for Teresa's daughters. So you see that human element there, too.
Okay, so shifting gears a bit, the actual show. What's the future look like based on what Margaret's saying?
It sounds uncertain. Very uncertain. She said nothing is happening for filming in 2025.
Nothing in 2025.
That's what she stated. And maybe, possibly, not until 2026. That's a huge potential break.
A massive hiatus. And she expects changes when it does come back.
Seems like it. She said, some people will come back, some people won't. So a shakeup sounds likely in her view.
Which leads right into that core conflict. Teresa Giudice and Joe Gorga. Any hope for them?
According to Margaret, absolutely not. Her answer was just no.
It's just no.
Yep. No, I don't see it. She called the situation very sad and even wondered if it's like generational, maybe echoing their parents' relationship.
That clarifies how deep she thinks that rift runs. Okay, what about the Dolores Catania rumor? The one about her maybe doing another show?
Right. Margaret said she's heard it, yeah. And she thinks there's some validity to it.
Interesting. So Dolores hasn't confirmed it to her?
Apparently not directly, no. But Margaret was clear she supports Dolores, whatever she does.
And she also addressed that moment last season when Dolores yelled at her.
She did. She wanted to set the record straight, saying she wasn't terrified, she was just in shock. Said she'd never seen Dolores get like that with her before. It sort of brings to life the surprise of that confrontation.
Gotcha. So did Margaret offer any, solutions, ideas for saving the show?
She did have some thoughts. Basically, keep most of the current cast, except Teresa Giudice.
Oh, what about Teresa?
Margaret flat out said she can't work with Teresa and suggested maybe a spin-off would be better for her.
Wow, okay. And then add people.
Yeah, she thinks they need a bigger cast. Said at least 3 new ladies to, freshen things up.
And what about Jennifer Fessler? She weighed in on her too.
She did. Said she loves her but doesn't think she's cut out for full-time. Thinks Jennifer gets too nervous and is maybe better as a friend of.
Okay, so a lot came out of that one chat. Okay, next update we have about the Fox Force 5. Remember them?
Oh, yeah. RHOBH. This source gets into where that name actually came from, featuring Lisa Rinna.
Right. So the group was Lisa Rinna, Erika Jayne, Kyle Richards, Teddi Mellencamp, and Dorit Kemsley.
A pretty solid alliance for a while there, though the source notes it kind of took a hit later with Kyle and Dorit's feud.
Yeah, but the name Fox Force 5 really got locked in back in Season 9. That was the whole drama around Lisa Vanderpump allegedly leaking that story about Dorit Kemsley.
Yeah, Puppygate. And the 5 of them were kind of central to exposing that, or trying to.
Which really split the fans, didn't it? A lot of people felt they ganged up on Vanderpump.
Definitely. And the fallout was huge. Vanderpump stopped filming with them.
Skipped the province trips.
And then just poof, didn't show up for the reunion. Avoided Andy Cohen's questions about the whole leak thing.
And the article even mentions that some producers have sort of publicly suggested Rinna was the leak, even though she's always denied it.
Right. So lots of drama around that time. But Lisa Rinna, on her podcast, Let's Not Talk About the Husband, recently explained where the name itself came from.
Okay, spill it.
Apparently, it happened during that season 9 trip to Provence. You know how those trips are meant to, like, mix it up?
Yeah, stir up drama for the show. Production wants stuff to happen.
Exactly. But on that specific trip, the 5 of them were just getting along. Like, too well for TV.
Huh. No drama.
And Rinna suggested the producers were kind of freaking out, like, oh, Flico, what do we do now?
Yeah.
Because nothing explosive was happening. So the name itself, it's a pop culture thing
Yeah.
from Pulp Fiction. You know that scene where Uma Thurman tells John Travolta about a failed TV pilot she was in?
Vaguely.
It was called Fox Force 5, about 5 female spies.
No way.
Yeah. So after that surprisingly peaceful Provence trip, Erika Jayne apparently posted something online calling them the Fox Force 5 from Pulp Fiction.
And it just stuck.
It just stuck. Became their nickname, tied to that whole season 9 drama.
And the article also touches on that fan theory again, that Vanderpump quit mainly to dodge the reunion questions about the leak.
Yep, that theory's still out there.
Okay, next update we have about potential casting drama. This time it's Bravo's new show, Gen NYC. This new report claims the show was supposed to look pretty different originally, like a bunch of people dropped out.
That's the allegation and the reason. Apparently they weren't happy with the show's direction once Teresa Giudice and Ariana Biermann were brought on board.
Oh, okay. So potential friction right from the start. Where's this coming from?
It seems to stem from social media. The source points to someone named Salvatore on X who shared a photo. It supposedly showed Riley Burris and some others who were rumored to be the original intended cast.
Gotcha. And what did the caption say?
Well, drawing from comments apparently sourced from Reddit, the claim was something like, 5 girls were cast first, along with guys like Charlie, Dylan, Brooks, and Connor Kennedy.
Okay.
But then, supposedly, Ming, Connor, Dylan, and one other girl, the blonde on the left in the pic, allegedly quit when Gia and Ariana joined.
Wow. So a major shakeup.
Yeah, though it notes Dylan did end up agreeing to be a guest. And the report even alleges a producer tried adding Gia and Ariana just weeks before filming started.
That sounds chaotic.
Right. And the article mentions other social media posts kind of backing this up. Someone named KG Summer apparently posted, half the cast quit when RH Daughters joined.
RH Daughters, okay.
And another, KC, echoed it. Allegedly, half the cast of hashtag NextGenNYC quit when Gia and Ariana joined the cast. Riley Burris, not included BC, she was a part of the original cast.
Okay, next, we've got Jax Taylor. There's this really open conversation he had with his sister, Jenny Lynn-Couch.
Yeah, this was on his podcast, right? In the Mind of Jax Taylor.
Mm-hmm. And the source mentions his recent rehab stint for cocaine and alcohol, which, we saw play out on the Valley.
Right. And on his podcast, he makes this, huge claim. He says his worst fights with Brittany Cartwright, the really self-destructive, verbally abusive rage ones, were 100% because of substance abuse.
Like, specifically him coming down from the substances. That's what he said.
Yeah, but this source also points out that Brittany Cartwright kind of denies that, or at least pushes back.
Right. She apparently said they still fight even now that he's sober. So there's that immediate, tension about what's really causing the conflict.
Which is fascinating in itself, isn't it? How two people can see the exact same thing so differently.
Definitely. But on the podcast, Jax kind of turned inward too. He asked his sister this big question. Did their childhood play a role in his rage issues?
Which is, pretty vulnerable to ask out loud like that.
For sure. And Jenny Lynn-Couch, his sister, she actually agreed with him.
She did. They both seem to feel that a person in their past contributed to some of this. And then Jenny added something else really important about a history of mental illness in our family and how they, didn't know how to deal with it.
Which suggests it might be more complex than just the substance abuse, right?
Exactly. It adds this whole other layer. And then Jax asks her, point blank, why am I more freaked up than you? We came from the same cloth.
Wow.
And Jenny gave her take on their upbringing. She said their parents obviously had something to do with how they were raised. Yeah. And she mentioned this dynamic where they didn't really talk about things. They just pretended tough stuff didn't happen.
Oof, that sweep it under the rug thing.
Yeah.
That can definitely come back later.
For sure. And Jax also linked his tendency to exaggerate the truth back to one specific family member.
And Jenny's reaction.
She was 100%. Really strong agreement. And she kind of elaborated on why Jax maybe wasn't held accountable growing up.
Oh, how so?
Well, she talked about excuses being made for him and how family members, including herself and their mom, would bail him out or even lie for him, sort of enabling him,
Yeah, protecting him from consequences. That makes sense then, why he'd say he felt like a product of my environment.
Right. He even said he sees qualities in himself that are almost scary. Similar to one parent.
And Jenny apparently saw signs of him being a narcissist even as a kid.
Yeah.
That's intense. Just to circle back to the fights for a second, Jax did clarify later on the podcast. He said, look, every couple argues.
Right.
But that specific type of, screaming, yelling, self-destructive, verbally abusive stuff, that was what he tied directly to the drugs and alcohol.
Okay, so that nuance is important to his perspective, even if Brittany sees it differently.
Okay, next update we have about James Kennedy from Vanderpump Rules.
Right, so it looks like he might have moved on from Ally Lewber.
Which, the source notes, happened a few months after that domestic violence arrest he had, though he wasn't charged in the end.
Yeah. So the latest buzz, the main rumor, is that James was supposedly spotted with a new woman, a brunette, while he was in Hawaii.
Where did this come from?
An insider apparently told the Instagram account Bravo and Cocktails. This insider said their sister was staying at the same hotel in Hawaii and saw James with his new girlfriend.
And there was a picture.
Yeah, apparently a photo of them together on a daybed. That seems to be what kicked off the speculation.
But James himself hasn't said anything.
No. The source makes sure to point out he hasn't confirmed it, hasn't posted her on his social media or anything.
Though he did post a picture of himself recently, like showing off his physique. A different kind of update, I guess.
Yeah, a fit physique pic on a Friday, the article said. But speaking of personal updates, the source also talks about his sobriety.
Okay, what's the latest there?
It says he got back into sobriety earlier this year, and he's going to meetings again.
Which follows that period where it seemed like he'd fallen off the wagon, maybe late 2024?
Yeah.
He put out a statement back then, right?
He did. Committing to meaningful changes. The article quotes parts of it focusing on sobriety, personal growth, and being present for his loved ones.
And being determined to learn, grow, and move forward with support.
Exactly. It just kind of illustrates that sobriety can be an ongoing journey, especially with that public pressure.
For sure. And then the article ends with this interesting little note.
Yeah.
It says, Vanderpump Rules is currently filming its upcoming 11th season with an all-new cast.